I have been trying to make an Ableton video for the last week or so, and it keeps evolving like a Russian nesting doll. I started just trying to make a tutorial for my dad because he has a setup in his basement, but he doesn't know how to use Ableton. And I was like, oh, this will be cool. I'll make a tutorial. It'll be helpful for you. I can also post it on my YouTube channel. I'm trying to like do that more or whatever. But as I was like editing the footage that I got together, I was like, I don't think anyone is gonna watch these 40 minutes. Like, the setup videos already exist. They're like more concise than I'm making them. And anyways, so I decided that the best thing for me to do that would still be educational for, anyone watching, but also like hopefully more entertaining and more pertinent to like where I am as Ohio Motel or whatever, good for the channel or something. I decided the best thing for me to do is just show you where I'm at. So I recorded myself finishing the third and final song on this EP that I was working on. But I just like, I don't know, hyper fixated for an hour and a half, so that footage was kind of lame. This footage is probably not that great. Even though I got good work done. So then the next day I was like, okay, I'll show myself printing to tape, and that'll be the video, and that'll be me finishing the demo, and that means I've got my whole EP like demoed out and it's ready to master, and that's my finish line. I'm not gonna change anything. Let's go. At the time, I thought that I was gonna work with my friend, mentor, engineer who did my last album, Ben. I thought I was gonna work with him. So I filmed all that. I don't know. I encountered some like problems on that shooting day, and I was just shooting like step by step. So it ended up being a lot of footage. Like I ran into like static problems with my tape machine. I think there's like dust on my aux playhead. And then I cleaned it with alcohol and cotton swabs, and like that fixed the issue. And then I printed, but then I didn't realize that I printed it mono, so I had to redo it, and like it just turned into a lot of footage. I don't know, editing it together, it just felt boring. So also, I talked to Ben yesterday, 2 days ago, and he's about to go on a tour, so he won't be able to like meet to master stuff until like the end of April. And I was trying to get these songs out around New Year's, so I'm gonna try to master them myself. That's what today's video is. I will show you what I've done so far, but then we are gonna print them again to my tape machine. We're gonna use a new technique that I haven't done before, and if it goes well, I will end up with masters that I'm gonna post and like footage that is a usable video at the end. And whenever Ben is back from tour, potentially I will release like remasters, because I'll have some other songs to work with him on by then, and potentially I can give him these still. But anyways, I'm gonna show you what I've done so far. This is me from the future. These songs are actually out now, so I'm gonna do a better job at explaining the mastering process than past me, who was actively trying to figure it out while making this video. So let's get into it. These 3 tracks are my demos that was like, all right, cool, the song's done, now I have to figure out how to master it. So breaking down what I did really quickly, I just did some very light compression, just bringing this bar down to where the audio files were. So I'm not even like really compressing necessarily, I'm just like taking out any excess headroom. That's all I did initially with track 1. Track 2, I did sort of the same thing, eliminate any excess headroom, but on this one I also bought FabFilter and then was using it for some dynamic low end suppression, around 5 decibels, just ducking whenever it was too much. And then one more compressor. That's not actually even really compressing anything, but gave me back another like 2 decibels of gain. Because at this point I was VU metering or LUF metering, and track 1 was pretty steady in the -11, -10 area. And so I was just trying to get them to all be the same volume. So I had to sort of push track 2 a little bit harder. Part of that's because it's like an instrumental song, so for it to be perceived as like the same loudness and not feel like, oh, there should be a vocal here, you know, I was trying to just I pushed this one like a decibel further just so it didn't feel like there was any emptiness because it's just an instrumental. That's all I did there. And then track 3, basically the same thing. This one was the most difficult because it was the most dynamic, and it was sort of hard to bring the quietest parts to be, you know, loud enough, but then not have the loud parts start to peak. So I ended up actually like grabbing this transient and making it 2 decibels smaller than where it was normally, just to get the head away from the ceiling, and then did yeah, cut out excess headroom, and then did some more low end suppression with fab filter and some extra pretty light compression. You know, I was trying to be delicate, and I didn't want to overdo anything. So that was my phase 1 of this mastering process. The only other thing I did was I added -33 reverb to all of these, which is like not even really audible, like just something in the nooks and crannies, just a little bit. Like I'm blasting the monitors right now. There is reverb, but like it's really quiet compared to the actual song. Yeah, that's what I did there. And then I just printed those masters out to have the reverb embedded in them, and that's what these are. So these 3 are what I sent back into my Tascam, and I think I'm gonna send it back to Past Me, who is gonna explain what like tape speed and stuff is. Okay, I actually took this video off of YouTube to explain this part better. The technique that I was trying during the mastering process that is new for me is printing from my computer to this machine at its highest tape speed. I'm used to recording or printing into this thing at regular speed, and then for fun, you can switch it to Speed and make the whole thing faster, which pitches up your song and like is cool, you know. But apparently, the faster your tape is moving when you record to it, the higher fidelity you get out of the tape. Like it's higher quality. I didn't know that. I just learned this. This machine by default runs at, I think, 7 inches a second. So with Speed to the max, it's running at 15 inches a second. And like for reference, the Beatles in Abbey Road had machines going like 100 inches a second or something. But I didn't know about the speed thing. So I wanted to try tracking my masters to this high speed to see if that would do anything to them, give them any kind of new texture or something. I had already recorded these ones at regular tape speed, so I knew that I wasn't going to be increasing their audio quality. Like kind of the same thing with a picture. Like over time, you can only degrade quality. Like you can deep fry an image, but you can't make it higher resolution out of nowhere. So since these songs were already recorded at regular speed, I knew that, you know, nothing crazy was going to happen, but I wanted to try this technique during the mastering process, like I said, to see if I could get a texture, or I was also going to try to like press them into the tape to like maybe saturate them just a little bit to see if I could get an extra decibel of loudness out of them. That's what I'm going to now show myself doing, but I just felt like I needed to explain it more concisely. Okay, so what's going to happen is I need to export these in stereo, which means they need to be 2 tracks. So I've come over here and I've configured their outs to be 3 and 4, 5 and 6, 7 and 8. That coincides to this. Outs 1 and 2 are my monitors, okay? So that's why it's 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. for the 3 songs. This cable connects to the Tascam in the back. So for the Tascam, it's tracks 1 through 6. And I've got them all primed. They're all assigned like left, right, left, right, left, right. So I'm getting a stereo image. I'm going to gain stage them, print them, listen back. If it's all good, print it back into the computer. The other thing I need to do is put the tape to a point where I can print on all 6, which for me is at around 13 minutes. And since I'm going to be printing sped up, like the 3 songs are only 6 minutes altogether, but since I'm printing sped up, it's really 12 minutes. So I had to make sure that 13 minutes through 25 was all good to print on, and I am. So here we go. Cool. Now I'm going to cue it right here. So now when I hit set to cue, it'll come back to 13. It's pretty cool. Next, I've got to set all these to line so that they actually take in new information. When they're on remix, they will play what's on the tape. So I'm setting tracks 1 through 6 to line. We're good there. They're primed. They are assigned to the right tracks and then panned left, right, left, right, left, right, left, right. I'm gonna gain stage this and then I should be set to print. Hopefully this goes well. I just also wanted to say, while this time-lapse plays, part of the reason I'm including all of this information is because there's not a ton of videos on YouTube with working Tascam 388s, so it was sort of hard to learn about it. So I just think that this could potentially be helpful for like anyone else with one. I've got a good signal, they're coming in at a good volume, so I think I'm ready to track them in, and then I'll switch around the cables and print them back out. Here we go. Hitting play and record. And then pressing play in Ableton. Now we wait. Stop. Stop. Okay. We can set this back to the cue. Can disarm this stuff. Unless I have to do this again. Because there was maybe a tiny bit of distortion on 2 and 3 in the peaks, so I might want to redo this, but let's see. Okay. I'm trying not to think too much about it. Check this out too. We can slow it down a ton. Okay, so it's too loud right now. Okay, these are also peaking. I'm trying not to think too much about it. Like, okay, if Freya's peaking at 5, I guess I should just... Now they're all coming out at the same volume. I've got all of the black lines in the center of these switches, like right under the number 5. Okay. All right, I'm ready to try. Okay, me from the future again. These were the prints that I got out of the Tascam. So these two are track 1, these two are track 2, these two are track 3. The only thing I really did after getting them out of the Tascam was just a little bit of low end suppression, a little bit more, and just a little bit. Like this compressor isn't even really like touching it, but it's giving it another 2 decibels. So yeah, it's hitting -9 just barely, and then let's see. This one's sitting in like a similar area. Maybe it's just a little bit louder because this one is an instrumental. About the same on this one. So yeah, I tried to be really gentle throughout this process. I think putting it into the Tascam did give me the space to find like another decibel within them by pressing it into the tape just a little bit. But all in all, I tried to be, yeah, just really delicate. And this was the mastering that I ended up staying with. This second round of fab filtering, I actually thought I went too far at a certain point and was doing car tests and was like, oh, that's actually not better. So then I dialed them back, got them to a place that I was happy with, and bounced these out, and then this is what I submitted, and these songs are out now. So that hopefully concludes this saga. The Still EP is out now. It's free for download on my Bandcamp. It's available on every streaming service as well. And yeah, I'm really excited about these songs. Developing fingerpicking as a skill has been super rewarding in my journey as a musician and as a guitar player and stuff. It was really cool to venture into a completely new category. I started by learning Anything by Adrian Lenker, Angeles by Elliott Smith, Hobbs by Tyler Burkhart, Don't Think Twice, It's Alright by Bob Dylan. Just some of my favorite fingerpicking songs. I started by learning those, and then eventually came up with my own patterns. And yeah, even while I was finishing my last album, I knew that these three would be sort of the next afterwards. So it feels really good that they're out. It's pretty crazy. So I hope this was a good YouTube video. Leave a like. I'm trying to do this more. I think it just makes a lot of sense to kind of build this as a platform, especially because I hate Instagram. So this is helping me feel confident and have like a lot to work at as well, because I enjoy putting work into videos. So we'll see what happens. But Still EP out now.